Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. I'm joined again by Chef Anthony, and we've been making bread this morning.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this recipe. It's my tried and true. The dough that we made earlier, we set it out to proof. If you're going to put it on a stove while the oven's heating for you to cook with it, you want to put it in the middle away from all your burners. Unless you have a gas stove, then you can set it on top, right in between the burners, so that the heat will come up and warm it up. For most people who understand the process of how bread rises, the yeast inside, once it gets warm, starts getting active. And when I use that to explain to my students how that actually works, I always bring up that old Alton Brown episode where he's got the sock puppets that are yeast and they're belching through the whole thing because they produce gas. So it's a wonderful way. The kids love it. I love it. It's just funny. So we let that go through. Now we have our dough here that we set to rise earlier, and it's risen, and I punched it down just a little bit, and it's nice and uniform. We're going to stretch it out just a little bit. We want to make sure that we get the yeast redistributed, that there's no pockets. And I always do this the same way. I grab it on two sides, kind of give it a little flop, and then I just fold it over into thirds to let it work. And I do that just a few times to kind of make sure that I get a nice even distribute all the way through it. And as you can see, our gluten's building up really nice inside. So we have our size that we want. We'll put it in however shape that we want to do it in. Now, some of the beauties of using this particular dough is you can pull off pieces of it, and you can roll this out by hand if you have the patience.
Are we making like a straight bread, or are we going to add anything to it? Because I know you use this as a base dough for several different varieties.
Yes, I use this. I can make beignets with this. I can do cinnamon raisin bread with this. I can do, my brother used to do cinnamon rolls with it. So there's all sorts of things that you can do, just depending upon what you want. And we're going to kind of play with this a little bit. If you want something fancy for your dinner table, this is a great bread for it. So I'm just going to make a couple of long
baguettes.
Oh yes, you can. Well, no, because baguettes you really want to ferment your yeast.
Okay.
Which is a little bit different of a process. It takes longer outside of the refrigerator.
Okay.
So, but you could do a modified beignet, or excuse me, a modified baguette just by pulling it out like so, and laying it on there and letting it grow itself up. But just treat it like Play-Doh. The dough like Play-Doh, and
but you can eat this Play-Doh.
Yes, you can eat this Play-Doh. Well, you can eat the other one too. It just doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it's non-toxic.
That's true. But I mean, at our age, we've lived through quite a few things that we've eaten probably that we should not have experimented with.
My mom used to make us homemade Play-Doh.
Oh, there you go. My grandmother made that once or twice. But I'm just going to roll this out a little bit, let it get used to my hands. And for those people that are talented enough, I take one larger piece, push them together, and you can
make a pretty braid.
Yeah, you can do like a braid with it.
I see you've never braided hair.
No, I don't braid hair. But I have also used this to make pretzels.
Okay.
So you can do just about anything that you want with it. And if you want to do a pretzel, salt water, a nice brine, and get it nice and warm, and then get your shape that you want. And toss it right into the brine. It'll create
once we're done playing with the dough, what is the next step?
Well, when you decide what you're going to do with it, and see, it'll all go back together really easy. So once you decide what you want to do with it, if you're going to do just a loaf like we've done this morning, I always leave it in kind of this shape and then get it somewhat to the size of my pan. And I spray my pan a little bit generously, drop it right in, and then put it on top of the stove again, wherever you used it to proof. Put it right up there and let it proof again, and then put it in the oven at 350 degrees until it's golden brown and delicious.
How long do you need to let it proof that second time?
Until it's as big as you want it to be. It's going to go about another ½ an inch bigger than whatever it is when you put it in the oven, because the extra heat is going to excite the yeast even more.
Yes.
So the yeast will start dying off at about 180 degrees.
Okay.
So just let it go.
So bake it in the oven for how long?
It depends until you get the golden brown color on top.
Okay. And when we come back, we will try out our sweetbread, plus give you all the details about the Culinary Art Club bake sale that they have going on right now. We'll be right back.